Let's go, everyone.
Everybody in here, man.
Everybody
roll on in here,
Absolutely, man. Everyone associated with the Nuggets.
What is everybody? Welcome to the pregame show. Live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota Stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. We are so excited. We got here early.
Dude, yeah. The way I like to say it is if you're 5 minutes late, you're still on time.
That's right. That's
so
exactly
we came
right.
On time. We were early.
Yeah, we were early. We will have more joining us very shortly. We have a great show.
Allegedly.
I'm going to go ahead and get in front of this. I'm back.
Oh.
I'm back. Bro. I was down bad after game 3.
Brother, I've not thought about the Nuggets. Who is playing today?
We're playing. The Nuggets are playing the Clippers again.
Again?
And I'm just going to tell you right now, there's reason for some optimism. Okay. Not unbridled optimism.
Is any of it tied into the fact that Nikola Jokic is on our team?
Yeah, that's a lot of it. And to help us out, I got D-Line Co. in the building.
That's right. It's me, the most committed employee here at ALLCITY DNVR. I'm here day in, day out. But you know what? I don't besmirch others that aren't.
Why would you besmirch them?
How can I besmirch anyone in this situation?
Also here, it's Harrison Wind.
What's up, guys? Ready for game 4?
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to this game, man. I'm excited to see what happens.
Okay. I'm excited. That's a good way to put it because I am cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Cautiously optimistic, but there is real reason for optimism, and we're going to get into them. Little Brian Windhorst style, but first, what game notes do you have for us?
Yeah, a couple big injury updates. Russell Westbrook with the foot strain that he missed the second half of game 3 with is out.
It was his foot.
Yeah.
Is it a strain or a contusion?
I guess it was a strain.
Okay.
Or it was a conflagulation?
Okay.
Yeah, a conjugulation.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Michael Porter Jr., he will play, though.
He's going to give it a go.
He's going to give it a go.
So, wait a minute. So, we all witnessed that big injury that Michael Porter Jr. sustained.
I saw that.
Yeah.
He came out padded.
Yeah.
Didn't barely look like he was able to play basketball. In truth, barely played basketball. But he's on the court today.
He is playing.
He is playing.
Russ,
He's
not so
giving
much.
it a go. Russell Westbrook is not. So, should be typical starters for Denver. And it will be typical starters for the Clippers. And still no injuries for them. So they're going to have everybody good to go.
I do love the idea. Nuggets fans, myself included, coming into it like, are the Clippers going to hold up for a 7-game series? Let's find out.
Every Nugget.
And now we might start Jalen Pickett.
Every Nugget is hurt. We're signing guys off of a 2-way.
10-day contracts.
Oh, my God.
David Adelman pregame, he was talking about the offense. He said, look, the key to us winning these games is other people have to be confident stepping up and shooting it. You know, we know Nuggets role players are going to get a lot of open shots. They've got to be confident, stepping up and shooting them. And to make them, you know, they made those in game 1 and parts of game 2, not so much in game 3.
Yeah.
And then David Adelman also asked how Russell Westbrook, not playing, would respond to not closing. A lot of questions about how guys would respond to not closing in the last week or so.
One, that's a weird question to ask out of nowhere.
It is a weird, interesting question.
It's weird.
Out of nowhere.
Adelman said the same as any other player who doesn't finish a game. I would say frustration. Just like Mike was frustrated after game 1, I would expect that. He went on to say someone should be frustrated when they can't close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, hold on a second. So he was asked a question about closing game 2. Because nobody closed game 3. The game closed in the second quarter.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's so weird. That's kind of weird to come up to ask a press question pregame game 4 about the ending of
somebody's
game 2.
been holding on to that question for like 4 days now.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Hunter Tyson closed last game.
That's right. Yeah, he did close. He was on there.
I was looking at video of Michael Porter Jr. warming up we'll see what happens at game time, but no wrap or tape or diaper or anything on that shoulder.
Wow.
No
No
sanitary
huggies. No napkins, sanitary or otherwise.
And I mean, when he's shooting, you can see the video. It's on our Twitter. But when he's shooting, his left arm is just like dead.
Yeah.
Like he shoots it and then just his arm dies.
Yeah. He's gutting it out, though, and good for him
Honestly,
to be able to play
like-
through it. Like, it's honestly impressive.
I'm honestly very impressed by it.
You really
Like,
can't question Mike's
No.
toughness. You really can't.
No.
Are
you
starters out, do we know? Because there's part of me that wonders, yesterday, David Adelman was asked about Russell Westbrook and whether or not he'll play, and he says, I don't know, but whether he plays or not, we're probably going to try out some new rotations. And
Yeah.
part of me wondered if, again, I talked about this yesterday, but they bring in... or they take Zubac out of the lineup to end the second quarter, even though Jokic stays on, but then they bring him back later. And part of the reason they do that is there's no shooting.
Right.
But if you take Michael Porter out of the starting lineup, banged up as he is, it would
Exactly.
make sense. And then you bring him in. Does that mitigate that? Does now all of a sudden it's like, well, now we have to double off Jokic with Ben Simmons? I could see it happening.
It's the same starters.
All right, well, there you go. So much for that theory.
Yeah.
But what
I
if
was
it
looking at the tweet as you were
But hold
that
on.
whole spiel.
What if it wasn't?
But what if they didn't? It will be interesting now that Westbrook out, though. Like, what is your rotation? Maybe it's
Yes.
Jalen Pickett and Julian Strother come in there.
You've
and
got to
it's
think Jalen Pickett's playing a lot today. And then, you've got to think they mix up something.
Julian Strother, maybe even Zeke Naji?
I hope it's Ignaji.
Man.
I mean, maybe Adelman's not a Zeke Naji guy. Maybe
I
that's something we've
also-
learned over the last.
I mean, where's
2
Vlatko? Can we get a little Vlatko in our
He's
lives?
still on the team. Yeah. I mean, are we going to keys to the game or whatever? Is that
Sure.
in this section?
Yeah, the game notes is that.
Can Nikola Jokic get a couple fouls on Zubac early?
But he's not that kind of player, though, man. Like, he's good. Yes, like, that's a part of it, but it's not like you're trying to draw fouls on Nurkic or Hartenstein.
But if you draw 2 quick fouls on Zubac, that might change how they play their rotation with him. And him coming in to play against the Nuggets bench and in those non-Nuggets shooter minutes has been like the key to these last 2 games.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's a way to disrupt their rotation.
I 100% agree. I'm not holding my breath for it because I think Zubac is too good at it, and the defensive scheme they are playing, it's tough for Jokic.
Yeah.
But here's where I want to go with this D-line. Game 1 was very competitive, very close. Nuggets played very well.
They won.
They won the game.
So sick.
Game 2, very competitive, very close from start to finish.
They lost.
They lost at the very end, but it was,
Not sick.
Who's better? Even 50-50. Game 3, they started the game for about 7 minutes. It looked like, all right, same thing we've seen. Nuggets
Yeah.
up a little bit, but everything's going well. And then it all fell apart all at once, 23-2. And it was, the Nuggets did not look like themselves in that run, and they did not bounce back at all from that run. So part of me goes, okay, if we're agreeing on these facts so far, right? The Nuggets have not been outclassed in this series until 7 minutes to go, 7 minutes into the first quarter last game.
Yeah.
So the question is, have the Clippers figured something out about Denver and now they just own them? Or was that a game where maybe something else happened? Maybe the Nuggets had lost their rhythm, lost the thing, that their connection, all those things, and they lost. But it's not a permanent loss. It's not a figuring out. It was something happened where the vibe of the team was off last game.
I mean, that's undeniable. The team didn't look like themselves at all. They didn't look like they had anything going. They had no connection. They had no will. They had no fight. They had no heart. And we know that that's not the characteristics of our Nuggets. I wouldn't put all of my life into this team if there was a bunch of heartless, gutless guys that lay down when things get hard. I would be a Rockies fan if that was the case, and I'm not. I'm not a Rockies fan. So I did find it to be very, very out of character. I, like you, am left wondering, are there things happening that aren't happening between the lines that maybe are affecting the squad mentally after, again, they got punched. I mean, everybody gets punched, and the Nuggets have gotten punched. And they just got punched, and then they just kept punching themselves.
Somebody says Game 1 was a pretty lucky win. Game 2, where they missed a wide open dunk, was any different than this one?
Yeah, it was Game 1 a lucky
Also,
win.
Denver was down 15 in the first quarter and came back.
Yeah, get outta here,
was
you
that
guy.
comeback luck? I mean, that's
Look,
just
man.
to me. That's the narrative. Again, I'm not saying the Nuggets aren't. They're surefire to win this game or
Right.
anything. They got killed. If they get killed tonight, I would not be surprised. But I don't want to pretend what happens in games 1 and 2
Game 1
didn't
was a
happen.
pretty normal win. Game 2 was a pretty normal loss.
Correct.
I
Yeah,
think
Game
that's
3
just
was a
what it
pretty-
was. Game 3 was an embarrassment.
it was an absolute clowning.
Bad
It was
times.
a belt ass. Write the report, Kale. Sorry.
But here's the thing that I want to go to now in segment 2, which is I think there's a lot of talk about, well, the Clippers made adjustments. And now they have it and this or that. And look, there's a very linear, nobody ever says what these adjustments are. It's just that they made adjustments.
The adjustments.
They just made some. I mean, their rotation was the same as it was in game 2. It's not like that was the new adjustment. So, but game 3 obviously went the way that it did. But I wonder if it's less about adjustments and more, to me personally, about identity. I think the Nuggets have had an identity for the first 5 games of the Adelman era, a small sample size to be sure, but 5 games they have more or less looked like the team I expected, have come to know. Last game they did not, and I don't think it was about adjustments. I think the team lost for at least a brief moment, but maybe permanently. We'll find out here shortly. I think they lost that identity, and they had it for the first 7 minutes.
What do you think the identity was?
Well, first of all, I talked about toughness. In games 1 and in games 2, Denver was unbelievably resilient in them and tough. And were they great at every detail defensively? No. They made mistakes, but they flew around. They just were like, by any means necessary, it's not going to be pretty. We're not going to play the beautiful game, but we're going to stay connected and grind it out. Game 3, that did not happen. They kind of went to the mat and did not get up. And so for me, this is more about identity. We know who we are. Nobody has to step outside the lines. During that 23-2 run, one of the things we talked about yesterday, Russell Westbrook gets an offensive rebound, dribbles to the three-point line, turnaround jumper. Aaron Gordon brings the ball up. They're on a run. We got to stop the bleeding. Stop and pop, no pass threes from the top of the key. Denver lost their identity in that part, and then you're like, oh, well, what happened? I just think that's not who we are. We don't play that way.
Yeah, man. It's almost like the Nuggets have to find that identity. They have to play that way. And if they don't play that way, they might get blown out.
Yeah.
Where it's like the Clippers, they just have the personnel and the scheme and the players to just play.
Because it doesn't require a ton of connection.
Yeah. The Nuggets have such a small margin for error. And they are really just so up against it that they just need everything to go smooth.
Yeah.
Almost in a way. Like they need all their role players to play well.
Yeah.
They need their role players to have confidence and shoot it with confidence and know they can be in that moment. It's just like the two teams are playing totally different games almost.
Yoke said months ago, we know what we're supposed to do, we just never do it. And it was like frustration. They were like, well, what is it the team? He's like, we all know what we're supposed to do. I don't know why we don't do it. I think game 3 was I don't know why we didn't do it tonight. And that's why I'm like, for me, I know everybody's just going to go to adjustments. But to me, it's more about the Nuggets rediscovering that identity and not letting anyone disrupt it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm kind of with your initial premise. Like, I don't think it was really about adjustments. It was just like that crazy. Up until that point, I don't remember another stretch in either game where there was a run of bigger than 8 points.
Yeah.
And that, like we were talking about how, man, like nobody's shooting threes, nobody's really stringing things together. It really is just two guys in the middle, two heavyweights just in the middle of the ring, just trading blows. And that run was crazy because you just didn't know what the Nuggets were doing. Like anywhere on the court, you're like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
The adjustment there would be like, just keep your heads about you. Like you need to play defense. You need to also score. You need to. So listen, man. That was just so out of character. Like, and it just sent the entire game into a spiral.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they give up these big runs, but they usually punch back.
Yep.
This last game, they just did not punch back, and then the floodgates opened from there. It's about responding. It's about punching back. It's about being there for one another, and they hadn't did that. And that was just a game that they kind of like laid over, and that's not the Nuggets way. That's not the characteristics of them that we've been seeing. So are they going to respond? Are they going to punch back? Are they going to be physical? Because that was really the difference in the game. It wasn't the adjustments. It was physicality and a team allowing them to just get comfortable. You can't let them get comfortable. You have to punch first if you're Denver. We haven't seen them punch first yet.
They did punch first, though, the last game. That's the worst part.
They did. They got to
They totally punched
It
first.
turned quick, though. It turned quick, and there was no response.
Yeah. The no response part, though, is the big part of it. And this is why we're kind of being a little cheeky here. But Russ is out tonight. And this is, when we talk about identity, He's obviously contributed to a lot of wins this year and to a lot of success, and the team needs him. They need the skill set that he brings. They're so thin that I have no idea who's even playing tonight. There's going to be somebody that checks in tonight. We're going to go like, okay, so it's him. I don't know who that player's going to be. They need Russ, but he's not there. And in a weird way, I do wonder if it is easier tonight only. Not that they will be better as a team, but that they might be better at reminding themselves of the identity that they are. And that's really what's important to me. Like, you need a huge Murray and a huge Jokic performance. To do that, you need everybody else understanding the limited role that they play in this ecosystem. Limited but important. And that's why tonight, to me, has to be a return. Not an adjustment, but a return to who they are.
Yeah. And there's a chance you can get there without Russell Westbrook. I mean, he's done some good things in this series. It's been pretty much exactly what I think we've all expected, though. You know, there's been a lot of peaks and valleys. He's had a solid game, though. You know, he's played fine. With Jalen Pickett in there, he's not going to take the chances that Russell Westbrook does. He's not going to, you know, have the peaks that Russell Westbrook does either. But he's not going to have, you know, the valleys. He's not going to have some of those debilitating turnovers, I feel like, in plays and missed layups that just lead to opponent fast breaks. Jalen Pickett hasn't been amazing in these minutes that he's played, but there's definitely a way that he can play more in the system than Russell Westbrook does.
Yeah. And then the last part of this is I talked in game one about how tough they were. And last game, their emotional endurance was weak. And this was really one of the things. This is what you're talking about, Dev, is how they kind of got knocked down and did not get up, didn't have even any fight. And I don't think they need heroics today outside of Jamal and Yoke need to be pretty freaking good.
Yes,
but I don't
they do.
even know if they need to be heroic. Like, I don't know if we need a 50-piece from either guy tonight, but you do need to be,
nice,
an A version of yourselves. They need discipline, they need calm, and they need emotional endurance, because I don't see a 20-point Nuggets win in these playoffs, let alone this series, let alone this game. I just don't see it. What I see is a team that in previous iterations was able to bend without breaking and find a way to get it to the clutch and then execute through the greatness of their two players. That's what they need, but it requires a foundation of emotional endurance.
See, this is the thing, is like the Nuggets need to put the Clippers in the position that they just found themselves in.
Down 20?
Yeah, they need to like really put it on them, like give them a run and see if the Clippers have the emotional fortitude to be able to respond. Like, they do need, in my opinion, they do need to have just an eruption from a player, Jamal, Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., where the other team is left like, oh my God, like really scrambling. And
But the Nuggets never blow anyone out. You know, that's like kind of a trait of this team.
Well, they have times when Jamal scores 50. I mean, like, it's not necessarily that the score has to be a 20-point victory, but they need to put the Clippers in a super uncomfortable position where they start to doubt themselves. They've not done that yet.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be a blowout, but it has to be, like we talked about like 2 segments ago, but like the reminder type of performance from the Nuggets' best players. Not having a Russell Westbrook, having a banged up Michael Porter Jr., it takes you back to the days of Jamal and Jokic. Those are two guys that can take over in a game, and now, you know, more is less in this type, in this type of game. Yeah. Now you're not thinking about trying to get everyone else involved. Maybe it becomes the two-man game throughout the entire game. Maybe it's one person saying, this is on me, I have to step up. We have not seen a monster Jokic game. We have not seen a monster Jamal game, in this playoff so far, which are back against the wall. Will you be the one that says this is on me to be that guy? So I really do think that this is one of those type of games of let's have both of them go off at the exact same time and just show we're here. We're not going to back down to you. I think that goes a long way as well as a blowout would.
Do you think Nuggets blowout win is on the table tonight?
No.
I don't either. I mean, this is kind of where I'm at.
I don't see
That's
it.
why I have emotional endurance here, is because I think the only path is a clawed out path in this one to stabilize.
Nuggets just don't have enough scoring, man.
Yeah.
They just don't have enough guys.
Yeah.
They really don't. It's just, I feel like it's as simple as that.
You have to get into, I mean, it's not that you can't control the game, but that you're going to control.
I mean,
but best case scenario to me is almost to control the game from a place of like 5, 6, 7 points up.
I mean, I
and
agree.
then you get to the clutch.
I agree. Listen, I mean, I'm not predicting a blowout, but I also I'm not taking it off the table either. I mean, just like the playoffs are weird, man. Like, the Nuggets, the last 2 seasons have shown you that the wild variance that they can have between games, where you can have a Jokic absolute masterclass, make it look like the Minnesota Timberwolves don't even belong on the same floor, and then they'll lose by 40 points the next game. So Listen, man, that's why we watch. Tune in. Stay tuned.
I'm excited for this game. I really am. And I've been dreading it, to be honest with you, since about 8 minutes into the second quarter of Game 3. I've been dreading Game 4. But I really am excited because of how it's going out. Look, I wish Russ was healthy and able to go through it and all these different things. But with him out, there might be more clarity of, hey, we're not going to win this pretty. We're going to win it ugly. We got to pull them into the mud here, and we're going to wrestle them in the mud because we can't match them anywhere else. And I just think there's a chance for it. Any last thoughts, Dev? If somebody you have your eye on tonight specifically to go off? Or not go off. Play an A-plus game of their standard.
Jokic.
So it's him.
I think it has to be. Really, when you look at your best player and him not being Superman the entire time, him trying to adjust and figure out what's happening, I feel like he's been playing the cat and mouse game so long until you realize, like, you're the cat. Like, you are the dominant. You're the aggressor. I'm expecting him, and I want him to be the guy that says, I'm going to shoot through this double team. Like, F that. I don't care that you guys are sending a Ben Simmons at me or anything like that. So I really do think that he has to set the tone early, and then everybody else jumps on his back, or they, like, say, okay, he's going to will us to a victory. Because that's what the great ones do, and he's one of the great ones. So I really want him to be the one that says, I don't care if I shoot 30 shots in this game, 35 shots. I wanted this to be a game that he wants to score every single time down. Even if he's missing, I would not care.
Yeah. What about you, D-Line?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You're out of it. You're not really feeling it.
I've got a bubbly cauldron of emotions.
Don't blame me, man. I get it. What about you?
I said it at the top of the show. Like, getting Zubats into foul trouble changes the tone of this game. Like, that can change the Clippers' plan.
So could Kawhi, getting Kawhi into foul trouble.
Yeah. But I actually think Zubats is the guy I'd rather get in foul trouble. I would rather Zubats play less than, like, Kawhi or Harden. I really would.
I mean, they got Harden into foul trouble, I think, in Game 1, and it really changed a lot. I mean, that really is it. They just have to disrupt something that the Clippers feel comfortable with. They didn't make them uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form last game, and, you know, it obviously netted in just an absolute disaster class from the Denver Nuggets. They have to pick their guy, probably, and I mean, Zubats is not a terrible player, but I might go with James Harden, honestly.
For me, I think Peyton Watson has a big role tonight. They need his defense. They need energy from him. And tonight, last game, I just thought he was really bad. I don't think he was ready for it. He was part of what really triggered this. Tonight, if there's no Russ, he probably plays 25 to 30 minutes a night. They need him to be productive defensively, and then I don't think he needs to press for his offense. I think it should just come to him. But he
floaters today.
But he is going to get a few plays where it's like, you just got to have this, man.
Totally.
Tight moment, open three, you just got to have it. You have to have it. Or one-on-one in transition, you got to finish this. You got to finish it. You cannot turn it over.
And as long as we're talking point guards, Jamal Murray having a good game would probably be pretty helpful for the Denver Nuggets.
To me, him having a great game would be the most encouraging single thing that could happen.
Right. It's not only it has to happen.
Yeah. Our pregame picks are presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use the code DNVR365 to place your bet. $5 to get a bonus of $150 if you win or lose. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and needs help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Dev, this is a tough one, man. You're in a tight spot.
Am I? Well, let's make some money then on it. The Nuggets come into this game as 6.5-point underdogs. They just saw that last game. They said, you know what? We're expecting another blowout. I'm not seeing that blowout. I think the Nuggets respond in this one, even down a couple of bodies. Really, I do think more is less in this one. I think we're going to see Jokic and Jamal be the ones that are shooting the ball most of the time. We want Christian Brown to step up in this game, so I'm expecting a little bit more from him. I'm going to go +6. I'm going to go under.
I like +6. Part of me is very tempted just to take this, Dev, the money line, but I'll go +6.
Let's do +6. Get you a little bit of insurance.
Is it because if they don't cover, you're just going to go Colfax mode? Anyway?
I might go Colfax mode.
Let's go
at
under.
that point, what does money mean?
Under 212. Even in a 34-point blowout, they couldn't get over this line. It's just too high for them. Both teams are slowing it down, trying to read the other team. There's not fast pace in either one of these teams. As much as it looks like the Nuggets are just allowing them to score every single time down, they're still taking their time, and the Nuggets are taking their time too. So I'm going to go under 212. On the Clippers side of things, James Harden has been operating, just dealing in the pick and roll, getting to where he wants without much resistance, and he's why the Clippers are where they are. They haven't found a way to slow him down, so I'm going to go over his points. It's been happening. 22.
All right.
Just lock him in for 22.
All right.
Norman Powell also found some success in the last game. We can start calling him Norman again. Denver has been allowing him to get open looks, and he wasn't hitting them early. He knocked down a few in the last game, and it looks like he's settled down. So I'm going to go over on Norman Powell. For the Nuggets, the three-point bet is the toughest bet because nobody from Denver is taking these shots right now at a high rate. The only one that's making any is Jokic. We're going to go over 1.5 three-pointers for the big fella to open up the floor, get Zubac out of that paint. And
I like it.
He's also just knocking them down. He went 2 of 3 in the last game. So I'm going to go there. I'm hoping that Christian Brown responds, and I think he's going to respond. I'm going to go over 5.5 rebounds for Christian Brown. 5.5 is
Shots? Yeah, we'll take shots.
I think it might be the
easy.
Broncos.
Oh, maybe for the Broncos.
So over on the rebounds. Also, we're going to do Christian Brown over points plus rebounds.
All right.
I think that he's scoring a little bit more in this game, and the Nuggets are desperately going to need him to. This line is so low without realizing that, Russell Westbrook or anybody else is playing, so I got the over there. Aaron Gordon, he's a dog. He's playing hard the entire time, and the Nuggets need a junkyard dog right now, a person who's going to be physical and lay it out on the line for them. Physicality is what they didn't have in the last game, so expect Aaron Gordon to go way out of his way to just be a force. Over 8.5 rebounds and assists for him. I like Jokic over 12.5 rebounds a bunch.
Yep. You got to bet Jokic rebounds in a big game.
Got to take him right now. That's one of my bets that I have on here. I think that he gets it done. Another one I really like, Jamal Murray over 21.5 points.
Yep.
This one should be at 24.5, 25. I think he's going to score 30 in this game. So 21, we're going to take it. I really like it. Our defensive bet is Christian Brown over 1.5 stocks and for the lock. Just get him in right now. Jokic over 39.5 points plus rebounds.
So you think it's going to be a yoke night?
It's going to be a monster yoke night. It has to be.
Man, I
really,
hope
I think
so.
he puts it all on his back today. This is the Jokic game. We're going to see a monster number that we're so used to. We just haven't seen it while he's trying to figure it out. He hasn't been playing bad, but just not as aggressive as he typically is. I just think that he scores a lot more than he has been. And I just think this is the one that he gets it done. He goes deep in his bag, scores plus rebounds. Let's lock it in.
Man, I kind of like it. I kind of feel a yoke night tonight. I'm telling you, I have not been optimistic at any point in the last 48 hours until about an hour ago.
Wow.
In the last 47 hours.
What shifted?
I'm
Well,
just
you have
intrigued.
to be, if you don't know how this works, you have to be a vibes receptacle. You have to be in tune with what's happening. And if the vibes are speaking to you, you don't lock into your bad mud moves. You take what's given. That being said, I'm terrified.
Wait, so were you not optimistic until approximately
you might find it.
3:02 p.m.?
It's possible that was when. Do we have any super chats, Cal?
Interesting. Derek Henry. Russ won us game 1. Now we need Joker or Murray to win us game 4. Go Denver.
I mean, sure. All right, everybody, hit that like button on the way out. We're going to go over to the watch along. We'll see you there.
We all silly like the mayor.